James Madison, March 16, 1751, June 28, 1836, American statesman, diplomat, and founding father. The means of defense against foreign danger have been always the instruments of tyranny at home. The advancement of science and the diffusion of information is the best aliment to true liberty. Philosophy is common sense with big words. The truth is that all men having power ought to be mistrusted. Charity is no part of the legislative duty of the government. Religious bondage shackles and debilitates the mind, and unfits it for every noble enterprise, every expanded prospect. No nation could preserve its freedom in the midst of continual warfare. You must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place, oblige it to control itself. Equal laws protecting equal rights, the best guarantee of loyalty and love of country. All men having power ought to be distrusted to a certain degree. As a man is said to have a right to his property, he may be equally said to have a property in his rights. If tyranny and oppression come to this land, it will be in the guise of fighting a foreign enemy. Liberty may be endangered by the abuses of liberty as well as by the abuses of power. Had every Athenian citizen been a Socrates, every Athenian assembly would still have been a mob. If we are to be one nation in any respect, it clearly ought to be in respect to other nations. Religious bondage shackles and debilitates the mind and unfits it for every noble enterprise, every expanded prospect. The Senate ought to be so constituted as to protect the minority of the opulent against the majority. If men were angels, no government would be necessary. No man is allowed to be a judge in his own cause, because his interest would certainly bias his judgment, and, not improbably, corrupt his integrity. In no instance have the churches been guardians of the liberties of the people. The circulation of confidence is better than the circulation of money. The best way to avoid danger is to be in a capacity to withstand it. America was indebted to immigration for her settlement and prosperity. That part of America which it encouraged them most had advanced most rapidly in population, agriculture and the arts. A popular government without popular information or the means of acquiring it, is but a prologue to a farce, or a tragedy, or perhaps both. What is government itself but the greatest of all reflections on human nature? A well-instructed people alone can be permanently a free people. A pure democracy is a society consisting of a small number of citizens, who assemble and administer the government in person. The personal right to acquire property, which is a natural right, gives to property, when acquired, a right to protection, as a social right. Commercial shackles are generally unjust, oppressive, and impolitic. Union of religious sentiments begets a surprising confidence. A popular government without popular information or the means of acquiring it, is but a prologue to a farce, or a tragedy, or perhaps both. The truth is that all men having power ought to be mistrusted. Philosophy is common sense with big words. A well-regulated militia, composed of the body of the people, trained in arms, is the best most natural defense of a free country. A well-regulated militia, composed of the body of the people, trained in arms, is the best most natural defense of a free country.